Mario Odyssey is the most intricate moveset in Mario history, which makes a ton of sense. It's the newest game, and if we know anything about Mario, it's that age just makes him stronger. Had some scientists in a lab formulate how he would look like at age 100, and let's just say it scares the shit out of me. But let's be honest, Mario can't take all the credit. Hell, every game after Mario 64, he's had some major help. From FLUDD giving Mario a literal jetpack, to Prince Florian giving Mario advice, a lot of Mario's newer abilities don't just come from the power of his quads, but also the power of friendship. Oh. These sidekicks have always offered Mario the exact thing he needs to deal with the evil at hand. Can you imagine Mario Sunshine if FLUDD never showed up? Half the game would be running back and forth from the convenience store to pick up some gosh darn Windex. Mario Odyssey without Cappy would be like, I don't know, a cheeseburger without, I guess, the burger. But what if instead of thinking about removing a sidekick altogether, we just replaced one sidekick with a different one? What if we tried to beat Mario Odyssey with FLUDD instead of Cappy? Which means no hat bouncing, no hat throws, and most importantly, none of that weird monster possession stuff. Why can he do that? Instead, we'll have a fully functional FLUDD at our disposal. And this FLUDD is a massive upgrade from the original. But that's not it. We're also going to include the ability to straight up punch things, which just looks kind of awkward. Will this be broken? Will it be painful? And most importantly, will it even be fun? Well, there's only one way to find out. Our journey starts off in the Cap Kingdom as I start to get a feel for the controls. FLUDD comes with 3 standard nozzles. The hover nozzle, which allows us to float across multiple gaps and traverse in routes that Cappy can't even fathom. The rocket nozzle, which launches you really high up into the air. And the turbo nozzle, which makes Mario run really fast on the floor, but unfortunately doesn't keep the momentum when you jump in the air. So we won't be using it a lot, but it has its moments. There's going to be a lot of little tech we'll figure out as we go, but for now, let's go. Our first little FLUDD skip is crossing the massive bridge gap in the Cap Kingdom. Now, I'm going to talk about very specific Mario Odyssey FLUDD 2.0 tech because it's all going to be pretty important in our run. So the first tech is swapping nozzles in mid-air. Unlike Mario Sunshine, where you can basically only use one nozzle the entire time, Odyssey FLUDD allows you to swap whenever you see fit. Meaning, if you use the rocket nozzle to fly really high up, you can swap to the hover nozzle and keep your height to get across further gaps. The second little fun piece of tech in this game is that hovering is instant. Unlike Mario Sunshine, where it takes a little bit to give you lift, here you can mash the button at the price of arthritis to carry Mario further than holding the charge as you go. Now I know what you must be thinking. Hey Scooch, what's that little black line right there? Well, I'm glad you asked. The black line signifies how much water you can use in your current equipped nozzle. So your hover will run out when you hit the black line, and your rocket will consume up to the black line. However, the black line does refresh every single time you swap nozzles. So to skip this sub area in Top Hat Tower, you can rocket, swap off of the rocket as you launch upwards, then swap back to charge another rocket and repeat it one more time to clear the height that is needed. It's finicky, since you basically have to use the D-pad constantly to swap between them, but boy, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't fun. And finally, after a whopping 6.5 minutes of trial and error, we get to our first boss. And it's so awkward, man. Come on. Is this you? Yeah, I got him, alright. Dude, he's getting clobbered. Hold on now. Hold on now! I cooked the hell out of that fraud. Sick! With that zone completed, we turn into electricity by the power of magic and friendship. Then we head to Cascade Kingdom, where we hit our first roadblock. Unfortunately, Madam Brooke doesn't take damage from the Mario Punch and can only be hit by the Chain Chomp method, which is bad news and means that we have to find our 5 power moons a different way. So our first choice is the Waterfall Basin Moon, which you can glitch into by ground pounding on a certain patch of grass to clear clip through the floor, but since I'm kind of new to this game, I can't get it to work and had to find another way. Thankfully, there's a wall on the other side of this cliff that has no collision, meaning if we could just sneak into it and time our hover correctly, we can jetpack around inside the wall until we get to the chest. The next shine sprite we get is in this boulder near the chain chomp. But since we can't capture the chain chomp and make him break the boulder, we do what any sane person would do and punch the rock formation with our bare hands. Then we do another 2D section which is relatively uneventful, but hilariously, FLUDD also works in 2D. He's just not really visible, so it looks kind of janky. We awkwardly just hover up this wall on the side of the cliff and grab this moon with ease. Once collected, we head to our 4th power moon, which is kind of infamous for being very difficult to reach even with Cappy. Normally, it requires a CRC, which is a really complicated trick that uses Cappy and a second controller, but fortunately, FLUDD doesn't care about that and is capable of flying us to the island with relative ease. To round out the stage, we punch yet another boulder and head on our merry way to Sand Kingdom. As I'm sure you've realized by looking at the timer, this gon' take me a while. We boost our way to the Palm Tree Moon and grab it with the finesse of an injured rhino. Then we grab the Desert Town Moon by awkwardly just floating to it. We hit the Leaning Pillar Moon by doing the same thing. We grab the Hidden Room Moon the same way you always do because it's easy and that's a good enough reason for me. Then we climb the tower using the 2D section because I wanted to see if the rocket nozzle works as well, and it does, but I suck at it in 2D, so we just do it the civilian way instead. I know, cringe. We completely skip the auto-scroller section by just jetpacking all the way across, which is fun. Then we collect the moon shards by bumbling around and floating over the purple goop of death. With those collected, we use 3 well-timed rocket boosts to scale the upside-down pyramid. Then it was time to finally fight the bunny baddie. Funny thing, the punch hitbox is actually really tiny, so I catch a savage beating and decide to do something else because I'm embarrassed, and she can't see me like this. We rocket nozzle up an archway and grab a simple power moon. Then we see the bird off in the distance, so we run to hit him with our rocket, and the sound effect here is just so funny, man. Why did it sound like I punched the bird? That's actually so funny. I loved that. We head to the Jaxie ruins, and using the rocket hover nozzle switch, we're able to clear the gap like nothing. Speaking of clearing gaps, look at this. Oh, can I make this? Oh, wow. I actually just straight up made that. That is ridiculous, man. With 6 stars left for this section, I felt it was a proper time to get my lick back. So we head back over to the bad bunny and challenge her yet again. Oh, the punch is so tight. I'm telling you, man. It's so tight. Horrifying. There you go. I mean, I guess I could just wait for that. Boom. Easy. I should just let her wear it out, right? Because I feel like I feel like the hitbox of that flying upwards is dangerous for me. There you go, I got it. Oh, finally. Now throw one at me. Easy. That's what I'm talking about. Give me that triple moon. As nightfall reaches the Sand Kingdom, we only needed 3 more stars to get to our next location. We head into the ruins and see a power moon inside a cage, which Mario can shatter with his bare hands now, or bare ass, I mean. Then we awkwardly float into the alcove and just need 1 more, which we get by breaking a box that was right next to us. With this zone completed, we actually have to take a pretty weird path to progress. Normally, you leave the Sand Kingdom and choose between the Wooden Kingdom and the Lake Kingdom. But instead, we're gonna jump into the painting and go straight to Metro Kingdom so that we can avoid the Night Metro section altogether, since you kind of need a capture to beat that boss. So to avoid the Night Metro section altogether, we just have to head into the painting to hit the Day Metro section. Because if we could just clear this big-ass gap, we can finish this kingdom before ever needing to do the boss fight. And thanks to swapping nozzles and timing our rocket jumps, we clear this gap with relative ease. Now, as I'm sure you can tell by the whopping 33 minutes it took me to get to this stage, I haven't played Mario Odyssey in years. I've spent a lot of my time recently backtracking through older Mario games and enjoying every second of it. But since this game was on the newer end of the spectrum, I basically had to get through most of them in order to come back around here. And I just gotta say that even now, when games like Pokopia and Mario Kart World exist, New Donk City is still one of the most brilliant locations I have ever seen in a Nintendo title. It's brimming with life, there's people doing so much in every direction. The soundtrack inspires a feeling of both excitement yet relaxation. It's a masterclass in world building, and like Peach's Castle, Delfino Plaza, and the Comet Observatory, it has a commanding presence in my heart. I wish I had better words to explain how much these little sections mean to me, but they mean a lot, okay? But I'm just grateful to experience it all over again. Now let's use this water jetpack to jump off of stuff. Yep. Beautiful, yes. Send me back! Send me back, Mamma Mia! All right, we're here. Don't you guys have like a star in here? What's going on? Turn that off. Oh, I'm sorry. Totally screwed the vibe up. Wee, yippee, yippee, wahoo, yippee. Yippee! Trying to hide from me. Trying to hide those delicious treats from me. Yay! We're doing this too civilian, I think. We have FLUDD on us, and we're doing this. Yeah, kill them while they're young. That sounds so bad, bro. I'm sorry. Any of you guys got a moon in you? Any of you guys got a moon in your head? Give me the star that is in your bones. Give me the moon that you just hold within your bones. Yay! Oh, yeah, I bet. Oh, yeah. And where are you, Rooftop Joe? I think you're over here, right? And meanwhile, I'm gonna look for that depressed guy. Yow! The quest for Lonely Man continues, huh? Oh, there he is, Lonely Man. I walked by you like 1,000 times. Give me the power moon! All right, wee, wee. Can I ruin your date? You guys had a star on you? Hey! We decide to be cringe for our final power moon and end up buying it from the store because I kept getting lost. With New Donk City finally out of our way, we head back into the Sand Kingdom to continue the rest of the game, jumping directly into our next stage, the Wooden Kingdom, which is pretty fast due to the immense nut-cracking power in our fists and butt. We skip an entire platforming section by just jetpacking outside of it to collect the Cliff's Edge moon, that's hard to say. Then we enter the sub-area and collect 2 easy moons by foregoing the auto-scroller completely. We skip yet another cliffside platforming section and collect a moon by ground-pounding the nut from above. Then we kill a piranha mini-boss instantly by just punching the hell out of her. We collect another straggler moon using more of the same, and it was finally time for another boss fight. Buddy. Get! Okay, my punch worked. That's good. Okay. Yep. Wonderful. And now I just gotta let him do his big spray attack again. Oh, you can stop him. Feels like something I should have known. Yippee! Woo! Triple moon! That's a huge step towards our goal! Yippee! With only 6 moons left, we jump behind the starter area to collect another easy moon. A very funny thing about this moveset that I haven't really brought up yet is that momentum is totally the name of the game. If you jump heading in a certain direction, you can't just stop completely and turn around as demonstrated in this clip. Yeah! Come on, back it up, Mario! Yes! We collect a few more power moons by just trailing around. I never really noticed how congested this stage actually is, but having the capacity to fly 1 billion miles into the air makes you realize that the Wooden Kingdom is more like a wooden apartment. With this zone done, it was time for our least interesting kingdom in the run, Lake Kingdom, which is unfortunately not that different with FLUDD around. In fact, the only segment in this entire kingdom that I did differently was the sub-area. Okay, we gotta get all the way up there. Beautiful, yes. We just gotta find out where the other star is. Is this it? Ooh. Kind of lucked out there. And then there's one by the exit, and then we're done. Ooh, we're already done with this stage too. We're moving fast now. We're moving kind of fast. Beyond that, there's not really much else to say about it. Cloud Kingdom is the exact same fight as always, cool as hell, but nothing different. And before anyone says that putting on the Bowser hat counts as a capture, no it doesn't. Small Ant said so. It's a hat. Move on. Buddy. That's numero uno. Buddy. Take it. You like that little hover? You like that little hover in between things? You're welcome. Lost Kingdom is another pretty small zone where we can get away with a lot of silly things. We get the key moon by just hovering into the cave to collect the key without touching the goop. Then we blast to the island in the distance and collect another moon. We hover under a bridge to grab our third, and hilariously, even with the jetpack attached, we somehow die to the worst part of all Mario games. You guessed it, the faded head bonk. We gather another moon by ground pounding a cage, and I'm gonna be straight up because I don't really remember. I'm not supposed to be able to do that, right? Mario's not that thick, is he? We collect a few more uneventful power moons and finally head over to the best place in the game, the Metro Kingdom. We head to the Snow Kingdom, and whoever named this place clearly had eyes. Shiveria and this place in general is really fun because it's basically all sub-areas. We grab the entrance moon by rocketing up to it, then we blast to the second floor chest and steal this one when nobody is looking. We buy the Nepo Baby Power Moon because we can and we totally earned it. And then round out our collection with the second story Power Moon that's hidden in ice. We hit the Wind Chill Cavern sublayer, and this place is both a lot easier and a lot harder than it should be. Easier because I can just blast across the map and get the blustery arch moon in seconds, but harder because to finish this zone, you have to kill a group of Spinies. Normally, you just possess the cloud and blow them off, but since we can't do that, I gotta deliver them an all-access pass to these hands, my boy. We hit the next sub-area and rocket hover behind the mountain, then we fight yet another boss. For this guy, you just kinda have to punch the Razor Hats as they come at you to stop them in their place, and it's not actually as bad as it looks. Whoop. Easy. We head into the final sub area and finish collecting our moons in the chompy ice area by hovering around and getting the pieces. And of course, using a rocket boost to get the higher chest. And now it was time to move on. The next kingdom is kind of cursed, because water stages are almost always some butt, and Lakeside Kingdom is no exception. So I'm only going to talk about 2 moons here because there's not really much to say about the rest. The first one is normally only accessible through the painting, but with FLUDD we can triple rocket boost upwards to the diving platform moon. The next one is in a sub area that's kind of a nightmare. You normally capture these little fish guys to blast your way through the area, but without captures we just have to rocket nozzle hover our way through a pretty large set of jumps. The annoying part, however, is at the very end, where you have to navigate through a tunnel of toxic goop, and here you have to get low vertically by letting yourself lose height in your hover, then float back up to get to the platform at the end. It's basically just timing your vertical force and also swapping nozzles really fast on the D-pad while you go and refresh your water supply. It took a few tries, but it wasn't so bad. Since I'm pretty sure some of you are curious, I will let you know that the only nozzle that works underwater is the boost nozzle, which makes you travel forward rapidly. Also, the punch works underwater, and I never realized how graphic it is that all these seaweed guys just explode. Nice! And then I just jumped up and span and ripped these guys into shreds. Awesome. Entire lineage was just wiped out with that one punch, but we did it! We're down to our final few kingdoms, and I just want to say that Luncheon had me worried the most. Simply because I wasn't able to possess the price of meat I need in order to fight in the big stew. But knowing how far we've come and how tired I was, I shot this past midnight for some reason, I knew I would find it within me. Alright, we're already more than halfway done with Luncheon. Dude, I was so afraid of the stage. I mean, I guess we haven't gotten to the point of the stage where I gotta be afraid. I gotta be afraid when I start to wonder where the rest of them are, because this is just a really big level. Let's see if we do this. There's one right here. I gotta be honest, some of these placements in Luncheon Kingdom, it kind of seems like the devs were like, let's call it. We've already done enough stars. Just throw some around and let's call it, man. I'm done. I'm done working on Mario Odyssey. I want to go see my wife and kids. There is a switch right here, right here, right here. Give me that free and delicious moon that should have spawned. There's not supposed to be a moon that spawned there. Normal turnip, cringe. Normal turnip again, cringe. I guess we'll go over here. I won't blow up this cheese. Weep. Oh, that would have been so awful. Get in the soup. Get in the soup, man. We're actually having a decent time in Luncheon. This is, I'm gonna say a super hot take, and I'm sorry if anyone gets mad at this, but I love food themes in video games. Adding a big lava pit in the middle of it, because it's like a big cooking broth or whatever, ruins the entire theme. I don't like that mix. I hate it. Food themes are supposed to be like fun. You're like bouncing off of like cotton candy clouds, and you're getting chased by little peppermint men. It's like, this isn't fun. This is horrifying. Now, can I keep hovering around? Two moons in a single jump. Can he be stopped is la question. Oh, whoa. Crazy. Nice! That was super fast! Now give me my moon. With Luncheon done, we basically were knocking at Bowser's door at this point. He should be terrified. We just had to defeat some weird-ass Dark Souls dragon beforehand. One, 2, 3, 4. It worked. Big slam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Butt slam. We can do this. No, I couldn't do it. No. God, if only I had my hat. Woo! All right, he's done. And that's all we need for this kingdom. And then we do Bowser Kingdom, and then we do Bowser Wedding, and we're done. Wahoo! We head over to Bowser's Kingdom and start the final road ahead. This place is more of a gauntlet than it is anything else, but since we can practically fly over all the enemies, we had a much larger adversary to face. And that is the massive jumps between the sections in the stage. A lot of these are practically impossible without specific tactics like nut jumping. But you saw my gameplay. I ain't doing that, so I figured why not at least try them with FLUDD to see which ones I can get away with. The first courtyard leap is pretty easy to pull off. With a few rocket nozzles and a hover in between, we clear this one pretty easily. The second courtyard leap was a lot further and significantly harder, with 2 rocket nozzles in the start and then a ton of mashing of the hover nozzle to extend its range. We barely get close enough to do a neat little trick. You can always use the rocket nozzle as long as you have a pixel of water left in the tank, meaning you can get away with, at most, 3 rocket nozzles and like 99% of a hover nozzle. So by exploiting this, we managed to barely make it over and finish our second jump. But here comes the doozy, the third major jump. This obstacle was not only extremely far, but significantly higher than the other 2, meaning I would have to somehow get maximum distance on my hover, while not losing any vertical height in between the rocket nozzle charges. And I'm gonna keep it straight with you here. You see this timer right there over my head? Well, I tried this jump for 51 minutes, which is like a third of the time I spend in the entire run. And let me explain how that went. Originally, when I got here, I tried to rocket hover tap my way across, but if my timing wasn't perfect, the height I'd have when I got close was too low to charge my third rocket and I would die instantly. So to give myself more leeway to charge my rocket, I started incorporating a spin at the top of my jump, then a leap, then a dive, because every rocket allows you to dive again. With a bunch of practice, I eventually came up with the method to long jump, spin dive, rocket, swap to hover with the D-pad, tap the nozzle as fast as I can, swap back to the rocket with the D-pad as I do my spin dive to keep maximum height and slow my fall, spin dive again, rocket a second time to get more height, swap back to the hover with my D-pad, mash the nozzle as hard as I can, which is on my R button by the way, dive while mashing the nozzle to give myself a bit more forward momentum while hovering, and finally swap back to the rocket nozzle with the D-pad when I was low on water to get my third and final rocket boost and hopefully get enough vertical height to clear the jump. And after all of my attempts, I wasn't able to do it. I'm sure if I had Cappy to bounce off of, it would be a lot easier to pull something like this off, but doing it raw with just Mario and FLUDD is tough for a novice like me. I'm sure the speedrunning community can probably nail this on like their third try, but I'm new, okay? I tried. I eventually gave it up and took the wire like a civilian. And looking at the other massive chasms beyond this, I wasn't even gonna try those. We finally reached our boss Gauntlet. Harriet was simple because she didn't really learn any new tricks besides just hitting me with more bombs, which is kind of based. But Topper was an absolute nightmare with all those damn hats. The punch isn't fast, so standing in front of him while wailing on his gut, waiting for his Elden Ring-ass ground sweep attack was awkward and actually got me hit a few times. But beyond that, we beat him and go fight the mech, which is just me rocketing to the top of it, then landing ground pounds whenever I can. With that completed, we head to the moon to stop the ill-fated wedding. And before you ask, yes, FLUDD works really well on moon gravity. It's actually quite nuts. We head into the chapel to stop Bowser, and hilariously, I can dodge most of his attacks by just hovering really high in the air. I can also make use of the boost nozzle to catch up to him when he's jumping around, which is another pretty cool use of this seemingly useless nozzle. With Bowser defeated, and the really cool Bowser escape sequence at the end, we finished up our run at a measly 3 hours, 35 minutes, and 48 seconds, which is like a minute or two from the world record. Also, as I'm sure you may have noticed, every single time I took a wire counted as a capture. So to answer the question, no, you can't beat the game without Cappy. But who's counting, huh? Was it you? Are you counting? Stop. This is my first time making a video on Mario Odyssey. Like I said, I really haven't played this game in a long time, and I had so much fun experiencing it again in a new light. Please let me know if you'd like to see some more Odyssey content in the comment section, because I would love to make more, even though I play with the grace of an elephant in a Ford F-150. I do a lot of modded content like this for other games, where I kind of break down everything on screen because I like to hear myself talk. So here's a link to a video that YouTube thinks you'd like, and I'm sure you'd like it too. So go check it out and subscribe. Please, I need this!